When we first arrived, it was playoff time.
Right.
And
I got to drive your Porsche.
Yeah, my canary
the little
Porsche.
yellow Porsche from
911T.
Rothman's down to the Coliseum.
That's right.
I was one of the Black Aces. I was a junior hockey player. I wasn't able to play, but I practiced with you guys. I was just having the time of my life.
I remember you being at our practices getting ready for the playoffs.
Yes.
Was that 74, 75?
That was the spring of 75.
Spring of 75.
Yeah, you guys were playing Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, wow,
You scored the winning goal in Game 7, 18.
Yeah, because I remember saying to somebody, probably Torrey or Al Arbor, I said, you know this kid, you've been out practicing with us? I said, if he shot right-handed, I would have thought, because he's from the West, he was Gordie Howe. Incarnate. He's a young Gordie Howe. I said, God, he handles himself so well out there. Yeah, I remember you coming.
You guys were good to me, really good to me, and that was so fun because I was in the big room, finally, because rookie camp. I was in that rookie room down at the far end, and I finally got graduated to the big room. And I remember how tight it was. There wasn't a slot for anybody. And I got in there.
And you said, you bumped into yourself.
And you said, well, kid, welcome to the big room. That just means you're closer to the back door going out. Everything. You keep everything loosey goosey, but at the same time, it's kind of fun. The spirit of that locker room, isn't it? That's you kind of miss that camaraderie.
Yeah. And someone had asked me about highlights of your career type thing. And we all have them, and I said, well, obviously the first Stanley Cup is always going to be the most exciting thing. First one. I said the second most exciting thing in my whole career was that in '75, when we were 3 years old as a team, that we went as far as we did with Pittsburgh, coming back from 3 down, winning in the 7th game, and then going 3 down with Philly, coming back, tying the series, but we lost in the 7th game that time, or we'd have done it back to back. But that was really, for this fella, that was the second most exciting time in my hockey career, watching that team grow.
Well, Eddie, for us that were young, and I was young, 19, 20 years old, and I got to enjoy your captaincy, your leadership. And it was paramount for a young group of guys to have a guy who enjoyed that group of players and provided that leadership and just the quality of leadership, Eddie. And we got to thank you, and we still do. But it's a respect thing. But I think you scored some big goals. You were sniped. You sniped some big goals.
Even when you're a senior or a seasoned citizen, as we learn these new terms. You want to contribute, and it's been a really, really exciting year, and it was a draining year because of the emotions. But watching some of the Clark Gillies and the Davy Lewises and some of the players that were coming along, and then this kid comes along and works out at practice with us, and I'm saying, wow, it just keeps coming. It's coming. This is exciting.
I got 1,000 stories about you, but one of my favorite is my second year. I hurt my knee, and things are kind of going slow, and Al puts me on a line with you and Gary Howard for about 30 games. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Right through Christmas,
right.
And it kind of kicked off us into going into the playoffs. And how we had lighten it up, and Gary scored 25 goals.
Yeah.
Having a blast. I ended up with 30 goals that year playing with you two guys. It was great.
As a captain, and I always kidded them, I said the C didn't stand for captain, it stood for cash. I was always lending money.
I thought it stood for cook.
Hey, cook. So the story, and you've heard me tell this story, and I still owe you.
I don't know.
So the guys used to come, not all, but maybe 6, 8 guys, rookies, whatever, and I'd make them all come to my house for the pregame meal.
Oh, delicious meals.
And so we had a nice steak, and we always had spaghetti, and then we had chocolate sauce on vanilla ice cream. That was the meal. It was simple, it was good. So we have the meal, and you're a kid. I don't know where you picked up this kind of stuff, but so I'm cleaning up the dishes, getting them in, dumping the stuff off into the bones, into the garbage and everything. I come back into the dining room, and you said, where's my plate? I said, what do you mean, where's your plate? I took your plate. There was nothing on it but a bone, and I put it in the garbage. He said, he had his teeth out.
My false teeth.
He had your bray or whatever it was, your false teeth. He said, my teeth were on the plate. said, what? You got to be kidding me.
No. I
said,
should have done that.
No, they were on the plate. So now I take the garbage pail outside, and all the wild cats that hung around the house sometimes are all out there, and I'm going through the garbage looking for this bridge. This bridge.
My false plate bridge, yes.
Now I hear all the laughter going on inside, and you are leading the pack. I come back in, and you got the teeth in. I said, Trots, as long as I live, I'll
And you
never
got garbage
forget
up
that.
to your elbows.
No, spaghetti hanging
I
off
know.
my arms and stuff. I said,
didn't.
I owe you, and one of these days
We
you're
are
going to
linked.
forget, but
We are
I'm going to
linked.
pay you back.
We are linked, Eddie, but you paid me back. You paid me back in, I'll tell you how you paid me back. Not in pranks, but in experience. So when I first came on the team, Al would yank me and push me over to the left wing, and you would take the face-offs. And it used to just bug me something fierce. And then all of a sudden, like, I started taking face-offs, and you were the guy that taught me how not to lose draws. He'd go, look, you don't have to win them all, but you just don't want to lose them. If they want to go that way, just don't let them go where they want to go. Just make it go somewhere where you might be able, you or one of your players might get to it first. It was a wonderful, wonderful lesson to learn, and so. There's 1,000 mentoring things that you supplied, not just me, but all of us guys. Clark Gillis, we all have stories about you, and we tell these stories to each other in fun, in jest, and in good spirit, and we love you.
Remember in 78 and 79, I still think we could have won the cup. It was you and Boss and some of the guys just needed another year.
One more year.
And we were I think we finished first both those years.
78 and 79, yeah.
And I said, boy, this team is ready to win the cup. You could see that this was in the making. It was a big train coming down the track that no one was going to stop, and it was really, really exciting to be a part of it.
Eddie, a kid growing up and watching the Big Bad Bruins win those cups in the early 70s, and then get to play with you. You were the first Bruin I got to meet. Then get to work with Eddie Johnson in Pittsburgh for about 6 years.
That's right.
And Eddie is like one of my favorite people in the whole world.
The best.
And getting to know you and Eddie and how you guys talk about that Bruins team, and how I revered them as a kid, Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito, and getting to bump into these guys across them. Like, I know stories about you guys. You know, Eddie told me stories about you guys.
Okay, how much you want to keep it
Eddie
quiet?
Johnson told me stories about you, and it's really neat to have that insight. And we take that as a group. And that became, we wanted to be champions like the Bruins. We wanted to be champions like the Montreal Canadiens. And those stories help, because how you conduct yourself on and off the ice, how you practice, how you party together, those things are bonding, and it's really wonderful.